This is my favorite portable electronic music gear setup so far. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shout-out goes to Damian Saylor. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. I have been using this setup right here from the couch for the past week, and it has been so much fun. This is the Roland E-4 voice tweaker, and this is the Synthstrom Audible Deluge. The E-4 is a vocal processor. It takes a microphone, and it's got reverb and autotune and harmony and a whole bunch of different vocal effects, vocal-focused effects, I should say. And the Deluge is a complete groovebox sampler, sequencer, full production station. It's basically a hardware version of Ableton Live. The cool thing about both of these devices here is that they both have internal rechargeable batteries, which of course means that this setup is completely portable. This allows you to write full songs on the Deluge and then have fully vocally processed vocals, and you can actually record them as audio into the Deluge. But it actually gets even cooler than that, because via MIDI, you can actually sequence the notes that you want to sing in a MIDI track in the Deluge, have that control the E4, do your singing into the microphone, and record that audio back into the Deluge. It's a very, very powerful little combination. So let's explain the cabling. This right here is the microphone in. It's my Shure SM57. This right here is my line out of the Deluge into my audio interface, so I can record the audio for this video, just using the headphone jack for this one. We are going to add a couple cables. This right here is a 5-pin MIDI cable to a 3.5 millimeter to 5-pin type A MIDI adapter. That's because the E4 sadly uses 3.5 millimeter MIDI. We are going to go to the MIDI in right there. Then we're going to take our 5-pin and we are going to go to the MIDI out of the Deluge. Just like that. Then I'm just going to take a normal 3.5 millimeter cable. You might know this as an aux cable. We're going to go from the headphone out of the E4, stretch it to the line in of the Deluge there. Let's rearrange a little bit. There we go. Cool. That's just going to take the audio out of the E4 and run it into the Deluge so we can record it. Now, last summer, I made a video called The MPC-1 Makes Anyone a Singer, and that's because Akai had just released their 2.10 firmware update for the standalone MPCs that added a bunch of vocal effects. And I came up with this super obnoxious song.
Welcome to Freebeat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Freebeat, I've got content. Welcome to Freebeat.
So you know we're going to recreate it with this setup. So let's turn our attention to the Deluge first, because we need a song to sing over. Let's get a drum kit. Let's just get a very, very basic drum groove going here. Some hi-hats, 2 and 4 for the snare, kick drum on 1 and 3 in the end of 3. Cool, super simple. New instrument. We'll just use this bass. That's fine. You know what? No, I always use that. There, that's better. We'll stay in C. That's fine. Now I can either live play this bass line, either using the audition pads, or I can pull up this isomorphic keyboard, or we can just sequence our bass line. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give us 8 bars. That's what I think we need. Yeah. Then I'm going to zoom in, or zoom out, sorry. So now all of these are just 8 notes, so we can just sequence our bass line. All right, here's our very, very basic pattern. Cool, nothing fancy. Now we're gonna work on our vocals. So the first thing I'm gonna do here on the Deluge is get a new track, and I'm gonna make that an audio track. Then I'm gonna go ahead and learn the input to stereo left and right with a monitor on. So now you can hear me through this microphone here too, and I can use the controls on the E4 to do all sorts of fun things to my voice. Now we could just start recording vocals straight to that audio track there, but I want to be able to use the auto pitch and the vocoder of the E4. So to do that, we actually need to send it some MIDI data and sing an actual, phrase rather than just have it locked to the same pitch. So we can use the MIDI out of the Deluge to do that. So let's go ahead and make a new track. I'm going to keep it as a synth track. I'm just going to use this sound right here. And that's because all we're going to do with this track is come up with the melody that we want to sing. I'm going to sequence that melody in, then I'm going to turn this track into a MIDI track, which means the track itself won't make any audio, but what it'll do is control the pitch that I sing at into the E4. In turn, then we'll record that into the audio track of the Deluge that's monitoring that audio coming in from the E4. Kind of confusing, but I promise it'll work just fine. So let's go ahead and play our melody here. All right, I'm going to hit record, hit play, and record the melody I want to sing. Cool. Like I said, that synth itself, the sound does not matter because what we're going to do is turn that into a MIDI track. Now we can shift our attention to the E4. What I'm going to do is hold down all three of the main buttons here, auto pitch, harmony, and vocoder. That gets us to a menu. I'm going to push vocoder until it says key I. That means that the E4 is going to be taking pitch from MIDI rather than just my voice. So now let's turn on auto pitch. And now my voice is just locked to this pitch right here. I can go low and it doesn't change. I can go high and it doesn't change. Let's go ahead and turn on vocoder.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Awesome.
Now, of course, you'll notice my voice was locked in all on one note. That's because it's waiting for MIDI data to change the pitch of my voice. Just like this, just like this. If we want polyphony, we can turn on harmony, 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 harmony. So when I hit play, it's going to play through this MIDI track, and all the notes I sing will be the notes that we sequenced. So let's go. Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free Beat. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat. Now that was up an entire octave higher than I wanted to be, so we can take the MIDI track and actually move it down. There we go. Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free Beat. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat. Nice. Let's try it with the vocoder now. Change my wave shape a little bit. Square wave. Cool.
Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free Beat. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat.
Okay, so now if we want to record that audio into the Deluge, we can. We go back to Song View, and we find our audio track right here. Let's go ahead and see how long this thing is. Okay, 8 measures. That's very important on the Deluge, that you want to set your audio tracks to the proper length so you don't have any kind of weird time stretching stuff. Unless you want that effect, you can get really crazy with it. And we are green, so we will be recording into this audio track. When I'm done, I'm going to press the audition pad, and it will go through the end of the phrase and then repeat. So I'm going to hit play and start singing, and we're going to record the audio from the E4. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free Beat, I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat. Welcome to Free Beat, where I post music.
Cool. And then the audio repeats, and the audio is recorded into the Deluge. So we can actually get rid of the E4 now. Cool, so now we just have the Deluge. That's all we're using. You can also at this point go into your audio track and turn off monitoring since we don't need to hear that anymore. Now I did use the vocoder there, so it does sound a little messy. I didn't really dial in the settings on the E4, but you can, if you want to spend some time, you can get some pretty crisp vocals out of that thing. My XLR to quarter-inch cable on the E4 is also really bad, so yeah, I do need a new one of those. But anyway, we have this audio track now. Here is the audio for our singing, for our vocals. Now we can treat it just like anything else here on the Deluge. We can copy it. We can add some reverb to it. If we go back into it, reverb, crank it up.
Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content.
Filter it.
Welcome to Free Beat. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat.
Pan it.
Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content.
We could even chop it up and turn it into a drum kit, play with the chops and everything like that. There's a lot we can do. If we were going to actually arrange this song in Arranger view, we could have multiple instances of it. We could layer. There's just so much you can do with this setup. It's really quite incredible the amount of things that just these two together allow you to do, basically write full songs.
Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free. I've got content. Welcome to Free. Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free Beat. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat. Welcome to Free Beat, where I post musical content. Welcome to Free Beat. I've got content. Welcome to Free Beat.
Awesome. And again, remember, this entire setup, completely portable. Everything here runs on an internal rechargeable battery. How cool is that? What other instances and applications do you want me to use the E4 in? A lot of you know the gear I already have, so go ahead and comment some combinations involving the E4 you'd like to see, or maybe some new gear you'd like me to pick up and try with the E4. This thing opens a lot of possibilities for a lot of gear out there. I really am enjoying it. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always click the thumbs down button. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. New content every single day. Thank you all so very much. I really appreciate all of you watching. You mean the world to me. We'll see you next time. Bye.